Okay, welcome to Conquering Loss in the Aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. 7 steps for creating a compelling future. Now, my name is Bayo Olaronto. I'm a strategic intervention life coach here in New York City. I'm also a personal trainer. That's what I was starting with first in fitness. I've been in fitness for the past 5 years. And I found this necessary to create this presentation because I saw such a lack of it out there in terms of the information, in terms of the mental, emotional, and physical tolls on us, in terms of rebuilding from this and rebounding from this disaster that is the third largest, as they stated in Moody's, the third largest natural disaster to strike us in the U.S. And a lot of people put pictures and videos about the destruction, and I think that it's very necessary to focus on the rebuilding process and our future versus spending too much time focused on the negative destruction. So that's why I created this presentation. And I want to, first of all, say that I'm borrowing this 7-step framework from Robbins Madonna's training and Inner Strength Films. You can visit their website at robbinsmadonnas.com. I highly recommend that if you've been impacted by this hurricane, which pretty much the entire East Coast is, I highly recommend that you pick up these films from their website, because not only can you use it for yourself, you can use it in your community as well to make a difference. But myself, I went one step further to become a strategic intervention coach by studying under Robbins Madonna's training. So I have some additional training that I'm using as a personal trainer and life coach, and also am a nutrition coach. So there's a lot of things I'm combining, and I've had about 10 years of personal development experience in terms of studying different forms of change and reading all kinds of books on personal development. So this is something that you can really learn from and that you can really pursue in terms of rebuilding in this process. Now, first I want to lay out, how are we going to make this compelling future? And what is it about change that seems to be so hard for many people when we're facing grief or loss? And that's exactly where strategic intervention comes in. Now, strategic intervention is just an entire field of study of how to make the right outcomes and create the right emotions and actions that lead people to better outcomes. And intervention is just that process of someone coming in and altering the state of events that was already occurring, particularly in patterns and bad habits and behaviors, or in this case, a pattern of loss and grief and despair. So someone that's strategically intervening there is coming in to shift that whole process so that it can be something that could be more beneficial and positive. Now, this can be done on a self-influence level. For example, if the hurricane strikes and I look inside myself and I find out what I can do to change, this can be done on a one-on-one influence level, meaning that if I'm coaching someone directly one-on-one, or a group influence level, which is basically what leadership is what I'm doing with this video and what I will be doing as well with these presentations. This video here is just going to be just a 10-minute summary of something that I can do a longer process of 30, 60, or 90 minutes. Now, what exactly are we talking about when we're talking about strategic intervention? Well, we're talking about problems, and often we look at the surface of problems, but problems are also a result of our emotions, our actions, our decisions. Then we're also going to look at the ripple effect of these problems and the tipping points that cause these problems and how they impact our circles of influence. And most of this is internal. We've had a lot of visible losses from the hurricane, but what about the internal losses? And the biggest thing that I want you to bring from this entire process is that change can happen fast. And with the right strategies, we can create change that's fast rather than going to years and years of therapy. Also, we can make lasting change, and we can also make progress very quickly. And there's a lot of benefits for strategic intervention, and in addition to conquering loss, negotiation, overcoming adversity, communication, better parenting, leadership, health and wellness, and resolving conflict, I mean, there's so many different applications that I want you to understand how powerful this is, and you can see where it applies in this particular situation regarding loss. And we're also going to use another framework, the 6 human needs, used with, again, permission from Tony Robbins and Chloe Madanis with the Robbins Madanis Center. And basically the 6 human needs here are the primary needs that we have as human beings. And they are love, connection, significance, certainty and comfort, uncertainty and variety. These are the 4 needs that we can pretty much meet by ourselves. And we can meet these needs sometimes in destructive or good ways, and sometimes in neutral ways. Then there's also needs which are more of the ultimate needs of spiritual needs that are growth and contribution. And we meet these needs primarily by interacting with other people, making a difference in the world, and growing and stretching and serving. So what I'm going to show you here is that my biggest point for bringing these up is that before the hurricane struck, many people were meeting their needs through their particular community, with whatever their home was, their family. Whatever was intact before it was ripped apart was a vehicle for probably meeting many of these needs, and maybe meeting individually some of these needs, and meeting all these needs simultaneously. So what the process of creating a compelling future is to basically take these needs and find a way to still meet these needs with some new vehicles, some different strategies. Obviously, if someone's lost a house, if you've lost a loved one, if you've lost a lot of income, or if your whole career is kind of in disarray, there may be another way to meet these needs than that particular, let's say, broken segment of your life that you're trying to repair, and there's a way to work around that. So that's primarily what the focus is going to be for creating this compelling future. And your model of the world is going to be how your needs affect your values, beliefs, and rules, which affects your actions, which affects your emotions and your relationships. So what are these 7 steps of creating a compelling future? Well, first of all, we have to start with the event, which was Hurricane Sandy. And what do you do when disaster strikes? I mean, nobody really knows exactly how bad it's going to be. Nobody really knew how bad it would be, who it would impact the most, what would exactly happen. I can tell many people in Breezy Point, Queens didn't think that this fire would occur and burn over 100 homes. And this picture has been one that's been very popular online. But, you know, when you think about this loss, what's the first reaction you have? And that's the first step. You want to really understand and evaluate your initial response. And your initial response may be highly negative. It may be sad. It may be very depressing. It may be despair. It may be a lot of things. It may be a lot of anger, frustration, whatever it is. You have to really look at what your first reaction is to whatever it was in your situation. Maybe it wasn't as extreme as Breezy Point. Maybe it was just your lights being cut off. But we've had everything in the millions and millions of people that were impacted by this, everything from their houses being burned down to losing a loved one to basically being inconvenienced. So what's interesting is that people respond maybe that were inconvenienced, maybe even worse than some people are responding to their house being burned down. And it's all about our emotional patterns and habits. So are you making it worse? Are you in denial? And what does this mean, and what will you do? So there's ways to delve in deeper with these questions and really explore this within yourself. And if what you're doing, is it good for you and others? For example, this guy here is rescuing an elderly lady, and some people resort to heroism and courage in a time of crisis. And unfortunately, some people resort to destructive behavior. So if it's not good for you and it's not good for others, you should probably discard it, because just the weight on yourself and the selfish behavior in a time when other people are in such need cannot have any positive impact whatsoever. So invisible loss, let's say there's the basic losses that we have are the basic needs, of course, which are shelter, clothing, the basic water and food and things like that. Then you have, you know, property, which was a big hit on property, millions of dollars worth of damage. We have lost lives. Fortunately, in the area of lost lives, there weren't as many lost lives as like, for example, Hurricane Katrina or the 9/11 attacks. But yet there were lost lives, and every single life that's lost is definitely a big impact to the people who lost those lives. And every person is important and has a purpose, so we don't want to lose any lives. And then there's loss of transportation, loss of time, and loss for money. And I think what people often overlook is the big emotional and mental losses, which are the loss of certainty, pride, purpose, significance, dignity, meaning, gratitude, happiness, identity, joy, focus, health, love, faith, and peace. And with the stresses mounting, with the gas crisis, with the transportation crisis, with more people expecting another storm and all kinds of things going on, it's important that we embody these immense mental and emotional muscles. But unfortunately, people haven't been exercising these muscles. So now when it's time for us to exercise these muscles, people aren't able to do so. So what is our human potential? If we have this ability inside of ourselves to overcome any adversity, and people always say you can do what you put your mind to, how does that work? Well, our human potential is limitless. If you've seen this movie, it's about a guy who takes a clear pill and he immediately is able to use 100% of his brain. And what I would propose to you is that you don't want to take any pill from anybody that's going to promise to use 100% of your brain. But what you can do is take another form of clear pill in your own mind, and that's the power of your own willpower, the power of your imagination, the power of your language, and the power of your body. That can be your clear pill to make you absolutely limitless. And so step 2 is we're going to identify the needs that you need to be satisfied. What were your needs initially? What needs matter most to you? And what actions should you take? When you focus on your needs, now you're looking at the internal drive. You're understanding the target versus the vehicle. The vehicle may be destroyed, but the target is still there, and you still have the ability to have your needs met on this great earth. There's still more room for you to meet your needs. Step number 3, we want to understand the side benefits of being in despair. If you are feeling lonely and despair, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling depressed as a result of this, you have to ask yourself the question, are there side benefits of me being in this? Is it helping you reduce a sense of guilt? Is it bringing sympathy from others? Is it justifying you abandoning certain relationships? Is it giving you excuses for avoiding obligations? Are you punishing others, making it difficult for significant others to leave? Are you indulging in an addiction? Are you dominating others? See, what happens is when we're stressed, we resort to these side benefits of being in despair. And we also have benign and hostile despair. You can see with protesters, this was, I'm not sure if this picture was from Katrina, but just protesters that are basically, it justifies avoidance. It's a way to punish others. It's a way to shift blame, and it makes leaving difficult. Now, benign is more like, feels like penance, bringing sympathy, justifies abandoning. So we want to see, are you using this despair in one of these ways, and evaluate that within yourself. And of course, I would go into this in much more detail in person. And step number 4 is really just to define your true purpose. You want to look at this and say, what are the needs that you really wish to meet? What gives you greater meaning in your life? What are your values? What are things that you want to accomplish? Step 5, you're going to find multiple ways to achieve your purpose. So you're going to look at the 5 ways to accomplish your purpose. Name 3 things that could go wrong, and name 3 things you could do in times of difficulty that would ensure that you meet your needs and enjoy success. And then this is a great step here. Step number 6, we're going to shift your body to create massive change in yourself on the spot. Now, when you're experiencing loss, see, loss is a behavior that's connected to feeling. So you are not your behaviors. You are who you are, and you do behaviors, and you do feelings. So we want to know, how do you do the feeling of loss? How do you do the feeling of sadness? How do you experience loss? What does it feel like and look like? And then we're going to have you experience that. And then what we're going to do is see if we can immediately break through that, through the movement of your body, through using your willpower to expand your body and express yourself. And then finally, we're going to take step number 7 and create this compelling future for you. And in this compelling future, I'll just even give you an example of it now. what we want to do is we want to think of the emotions that you have in your life that you want to experience. We want to think of a happy moment. We want to think of things that are going on, things that could be going on, things that were fun in your future. You're going to bring energy and visions and memories from your future into your body and wire them into your body. You're going to feel a state where you're literally unstoppable and you're really enjoying what life is about and what it can be about. And you're going to experience laughter and joy and connection and all kinds of experiences with your family and your friends and your loved ones. So you're really just flooding your body and your nervous system with all your expectations. Then you're going to build a sense of confidence, a sense of pride, a sense of determination and certainty within yourself that you can overcome absolutely anything and that you will create a compelling future. And so that's just a small sample of what this process is about. And I'll go into a lot more detail and have a lot more time to work through this with you in person or with your group or your family or your organization. So finally, I just want to say that the key is that this has impacted us again from very small ways to having our lights shut off or not having water to houses totally being burned down. And I think that what we can do is everybody helping everyone else. If you feel someone is in a worse situation than you, then just give a helping hand in whatever way you can. And I think in that way, everyone will get helped and this whole situation will resolve by us all making each other better and helping each other. And these are some organizations you can look up: Red Cross, Salvation Army. You can also go to NYC Service. You can go to NYC Cares. You can go to Habitat for Humanity. And Charity Water is also an organization. They donate water to Africa. And there's another part that I explained that there's about 334 million people in Africa without water. And if you haven't felt that sense of growth and contribution and you don't really know how to do that in a time that feels like that the problems that we're experiencing here are the worst problems that could possibly ever happen, you can maybe think of another time or put yourself in a perspective where people in Africa and they don't even have basic, regular, clean drinking water. And Charity Water would be an organization that could help you to gain that perspective. And of course, there's the Breezy Point fundraiser, where a university student here, he named Matthew, he basically set up this fundraising page to help those families with the over 100 homes that were burned down. So you can make a donation there and you can tell other people about that, whatever way you feel like could help. And then there's also the Occupy Sandy Wall Street, believe it or not, where there are organizations that are working on distribution and they're finding ways to bring clothes and donate and help these people that are in need. So this concludes everything, and here's a few more organizations: Mary Cares, Direct Relief International, Feeding America. So if you would like for me to come speak into your team, your organization, your business, or your company, just basically, here's my info. Give me a call, email me, look me up, and I'll be glad to come and speak for absolutely no fee. I'd like to do these workshops, whether it's a lunch and learn for 30 minutes, whether it's a workshop for 60 to 90 minutes. I feel like as a personal trainer, I lost a lot of clients that were displaced just due to the fact that my clients were in the financial district and the gym that I was training in was flooded. So it won't be really repaired for like 4 to 6 weeks. And I always knew that I had a gift for speaking, and that's something I wanted to do more of anyway. So I figured this would be a good way to use that gift for the right purpose and help people in the way that I can through my talents. And so I would like the opportunity to be able to help you go through this process so that you can rebuild and create this compelling future, and so that we can stop focusing on the negativity of the destruction, but find something that's more empowering and more meaningful for our lives, so we can go out there and live the best that we can and make an absolute difference and enjoy life, because that's what the life is about. We're going to have obstacles and roadblocks and adversity, but we overcome it and we live the best life possible. Thanks again for listening, and I look forward to seeing you or meeting you or helping you in whatever way I can. Take care.